Howdy folks, and welcome to Moab, Utah, behind the rocks. That's right, you are joining me on an epic adventure. Well, epic is not probably the right word, a nice adventure. This is an overlanding trip, which is basically camping, but getting to a place to where the cell phone doesn't work. And we're going from Boulder, Colorado to Flagstaff, Arizona. During this trip, I'm going to live in this. This is a 2023 Honda Pilot TrailSport. Now, we've driven this vehicle a lot. We know that it's fairly capable off-road, especially for a crossover. I'm going to show you what my camping setup is like, and I'm going to take you with me as we go to the Overland Expo. To be completely honest with you guys, I got into a little bit of trouble day one of this adventure. I went to Ori Pass and there were some really large puddles there. It had a lot of moisture here, and I got the Honda stuck in it. That's right. I had to rely on some people to help get me out of it. Unfortunately, I only have a couple little clips, and they're mostly pictures, just to show you that I came close to vapor locking it and really killing it. It wasn't the vehicle's fault, it was mine. I guess I deserve it. That's great. See that? That's what I got stuck in. A little bit of smoke coming from the starter. Yeah, day one hasn't gone well. There may not be a day two. I didn't realize in the middle of the desert that there would be water because I'm an idiot. I know better. And fortunately, the Honda has been very forgiving. So let's talk about this Honda, shall we? This is essentially an all-new Honda Pilot, and this particular version of it is the TrailSport. Now, you guys have seen videos with this vehicle featured before. In fact, the very same vehicle. So it's handled Tommy's rollers, and it's done our Onyx off-road course, etc., etc. And it's done very well for a crossover. However, there are a few things I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, you can clearly see it from here. And that's why I parked it this way. And that's because the approach, departure, and breakover angles. 19.8 degrees approach angle, 19 degrees departure angle, and 19.6 degrees breakover angle. And that's with a vehicle that has an 8.3 inch ground clearance. For light off-roading, no problem. However, we initially talked about taking this to Fins and Things, which it could easily handle with one exception. This! Yep. I'm pretty sure that the front end would scrape a lot to the point to where we would probably break it. And that's why we decided against it. That's actually why I was on Ori Pass and had my little incident. A few more things before we set off. For those of you who are curious, this has the same 285 horsepower, 3.5 liter V6 that's inside the regular Honda Pilot. Puts out 262 pound-feet of torque, and it has a 9-speed automatic transmission going to an iVTM4, which is perhaps one of the best all-wheel drive systems I've sampled. I'm not the only one who says it either. A lot of people agree. Then the rain came. So there's one thing I wanted to quickly show you guys before I start wrapping up this thing. Now, by the way, I'm in Santa Fe. All right, here we go. Here we go, an unsung hero of this trip. Pure outdoor adventure refrigerator. This is actually their smallest unit, I believe, and not huge, but very, very useful. All right, guys, we're finally going to draw this whole adventure to an end. This is Santa Fe, New Mexico. Actually, it's just outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. We're on Dead Dog Trail. Yes, that's the actual name. I love the name. It's one of the reasons I chose this spot. And you can find it on Onyx Off-Road if you're curious about it. It's a moderate off-road trail. Really, it's a dirt road that's very well kept, and you can drive on it with just about anything, although I probably wouldn't recommend a Corvette. This whole trail follows these power lines, so that part's not so cool, but everything else about it is actually very pretty. I do recommend Dead Dog Trail for people who are interested in macabre names and for people who are interested in some, relatively pretty surroundings. You got a tired Nathan who slept in this thing for half a week. You have a vehicle that has been properly used. I want to give Honda a special thank you for lending us this Pilot TrailSport. It was outstanding in every environment that I put it in. Moderate off-roading, it did great. On the highway, it's a great highway cruiser. I averaged about 24 miles per gallon over the past 1,200 miles that I've already driven, and that's actually better than the highway EPA ratings that are on the sticker. And I don't know why, because I wasn't driving that slow, although I did leave it in econ mode when I was on the highway. But I also drove easily over 100 miles just in dirt alone, right? So there's a little bit of a trade-off there, and usually I kind of have a bit of a lead foot. Complaints? Just a couple. The lane departure system that it has, the assist, doesn't work the way I would like it to. It seems a little bit laggy, and it warns you at weird times, and it just feels like it's a generation or two behind some of the competitors. Also, some of you guys might not like the tires that are on here, even though I adore them, and these Continentals have been fantastic. Fantastic. And I don't even know Continental all that well, but in the dirt, they've had excellent grip. On the highway, handling has been great. However, there has been road noise. I have noticed it over a regular Pilot, and I think the ride might be a little bit stiffer, and I think that's both the suspension addition, because it's a little higher than a regular Pilot, and the tires. So some of you guys might not dig that. Also, there may be one other issue, and that has to do with the sticker, and that's because this vehicle, and I have it here, but because I'm a one-man band, you're not able to see this sticker that I'm holding in my hand, but I can tell you, that's $50,000. Yep, pretty much exactly. Now, you can get one for around 48 and change, but this one has all the bells and whistles. And yes, you can get a regular Pilot for a lot less money. The question is, of course, if you want the kind of off-roady character that this one has and the good looks. I really do think it's way better looking than a regular Pilot. And there are some really cool colors that are out there too. The suspension, and most importantly, that IVTM4 system is still, without question in my book, one of the best all-around, all-wheel drive systems out there. Some of you guys might not like the traction select system, the terrain control, so to speak. And that's because there are several selections. I mean, you've got snow, you have towing, you have trail, sand, mud, you name it. Lots of things, but it doesn't really tell you exactly what the car is going to be doing once you put it in that mode, whereas in competitors do. Essentially what it will do is it'll change the shift mapping, and it'll also change the IVTM4 and ABS system, so everything works a little bit differently, but it doesn't exactly tell you. So for novices out there, it would be nice if it was a little bit more explanatory. What was it like sleeping in this thing for half a week? Yeah. Next time I do overlanding, I'm gonna bring a hotel with, and that'll be great. Otherwise, no, it was fine. I'm just being crotchety and old, and with that blow-up mattress in there, it actually worked quite well, so I'm very happy about that part. I got rained on a lot, hailed on a lot, lightning and thunder. Yeah, that was all there. And at the end of the day, it is doable. However, I would probably recommend towing something because this thing can actually tow. Think about that. All right, that wraps it up from Santa Fe, New Mexico. I've got 400 more miles to go. My next stop is actually going to be in Trinidad, Colorado, where I actually have some family history. And then from there, I scamper on back to my home, and I'm looking forward to coming home. It was a great trip. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope if you were at the Overland Expo, you got a chance to hang out and say hi. Otherwise, there is another one coming up soon in the Rocky Mountains. Stay tuned for that. I'll see you next time.